Jeremy Ashburn with senuke.tv, and this is the Article and Social Nukes training video. Now before I get into the goals, let me first talk about a couple concepts. A profile consists of a group of accounts under a specific username and password. A URL list is a list of links resulting from a successful nuke, whether it's a social network, social bookmark, video nuke, etc. And the only nuke that does not return URLs is the article directory nuke, because article directories have to manually approve the articles you submit to them, which normally takes 7 to 10 days. So therefore you're not getting URLs as a result of that nuke. Now the goals of this video are to give you a definition of the article and social nukes, show you how to do article and social nukes, and give you some tips and tricks at the end. So let me get into an explanation of article and social nukes. An article nuke puts your unique content and links across multiple article directories, such as ezine, GoArticles, ArticleBase, Amazines, etc. A social nuke spreads your unique content and links across multiple social websites, such as hub pages, wikispaces, blogspot, WordPress, Friendster, etc. And article and social nukes are really important to do because the more article and social directories out there that point to your money site, of course using specific keywords, the more Google gives your money site authority. And eventually your money site will raise to the top of a Google search list for those specific keywords that you're using in those directories. So I'll give you a quick overview of how article and social nukes work. Once you set up an article and social nuke and hit start, it opens the browser, logs into an article account or social network account, spins the content, submits the content, logs out, and repeats the process. So each time the software submits your article, it's spun with a certain amount of uniqueness that you can find out before you hit the submit button, and then it's submitted. So that happens over and over again every time you submit to an article or social directory. So let me show you how the software works.
Okay, so let's take a look at article directories and social nukes. Now actually setting up article directories and social nukes, the format of setting both of these up looks pretty similar. So I'm going to be talking back and forth in this video about article directories and social nukes. Now the main difference between article directories and social networks is that article directories do not allow you to put a link anywhere in the article, only in the author bio section when you're submitting that to article directories. Now social networks, they allow you to put 3, 4, or 5 links into an article when you're submitting it. So keep that in mind. Never put links inside the article when you're submitting it to article directories, but you can do links anywhere you want when you're submitting it to social network sites. So obviously here we're going to start off, and if you want to do a social nuke, you would just hit new social network nuke. Alright, so let's get started. To do a new article directory project, I'm going to hit new article directory. And then that pops up this highlighted text here, and I can title this article directory. So then I can title it article directory 5. And then you just double click to open. Now this opens the article directory project window. So what you've got here is a couple different tabs across the top. Create spinner article, load articles, preview sample articles. And then you have the author name and bio section here. And then here's where you have some post settings for the article directory. And here's where you actually select the article directories. Up here you're going to select the profile you're going to use, the URL list you're going to use, and the RSS list you're going to use. So this is the Create Spinner Article tab. Here's where you actually create your spinner article. And when you're creating your articles, you have 2 ways of creating them. You could either create them manually or actually create them automatically. When you create them manually, you're going to type them out in this spinner article format here. When you create them automatically, you're going to use the best spinner. So let's talk about spinning for those of you guys who don't know what spinning is. Spinning essentially creates variations from this format. Specifically, it's the open brace, word 1, vertical bar, word 2, close brace. So what that's going to happen is when senuke is submitting this article into article directories, it's going to pick either test or sample from the sentence and actually submit test sometimes or randomly submit sample at other times. Sometimes the sentence is going to read, this is a sample sentence with spinner code. Other times this will read, this is a test sentence with spinner code. And you can actually look and see what it's going to look like by hitting the preview sample articles and hit spin again. So you can see it's actually creating variations here every time I hit spin again. Alright, so what if I want to type my own sentence? This is actually a sentence with 4 different variations that'll change as I go along here. So let's look at the preview sample articles. I can hit spin again, and it changes it each time. So this is the article that's going to be submitted to article directories, and it will change each time it's submitted. Now regarding spinning, you can also do something called nested spins. And that just basically means you're doing a spin within a spin. So if I wanted to do it this way, I would just add a couple variations here. Okay, so that's a nested spin. You can see it showing up here as an optional nested spin. Now I'm going to paste in an article that one of my contractors from Odesk has typed out. And you can see here that this article has a lot of variations already built into it here. If I hit preview sample article, you can see this is a big long article with a link at the bottom. Okay, now remember, article directories cannot have links in them anywhere except the author bio section. And social networks can have links anywhere you want to. So if this were going to a social network, we'd be fine. But I'd want to delete that link if I were sending it to an article directory because it's right here in the article. So spinning actually creates variety that would not normally be there. Then it submits that variety to article directories or social networks out there. So a button to use while you're doing spinning is the check uniqueness button. What this is going to do is actually check all the different variations and tell you how unique the article is. So it tells me that this article is 21% unique, and it says that I should aim for at least 30% uniqueness. So I can test it again to see if it's still about 21% unique or a little higher. So now it says it's 20% unique. So anyway, you want to add a lot of variations so that it is more unique. One of the best ways to add variations is add nested spins to your sentences. Now let's look at automatic spins. I'm going to delete all this, and I'm going to paste an article that I just found from Wikipedia. To do automatic spinning, you're going to hit this Auto Generate Spinner Variations button. What this is going to do is when you hit Auto Generate Now, it's going to then spin variations of this sentence using the Best Spinner program. So I can hit the Preview Sample Articles button and see all the variations. Also, it tells you the word count here and the keyword density. We'll talk more about that later. And then I can check uniqueness to see how unique the article is. It says it's 28% unique. So automatic spinning actually uses the Best Spinner's gigantic thesaurus to generate a lot of variations to your article. So to set up the Best Spinner, you hit Options. It opens up this window where you can here sign up for the Best Spinner and click here to see an example of how the Best Spinner works. And once you've signed up for the Best Spinner, you're going to put your email address in here and your password. And then once everything's set up, you can actually set up a maximum number of synonyms per term and also the replacement quality. 1 is the most changes and 3 is the less changes. And then if you don't want specific words to be changed, you can add them in here, comma separated. Save. Now, another interesting feature that senuke has here is the ability to download a seed article from ezine articles. So first you want to highlight and delete the article in the field there. And you just type a keyword here in the keyword field, red baron. And then I click download seed article from ezine articles. So this article has come directly from ezine. And before I want to submit any article back to any article directories, of course, first I want to do the auto generate now. And now I have a spun article. I can check uniqueness. And it tells me that uniqueness is 27%. Now when you're using this download seed article button, you want to go for uniqueness that's at least 60, 70, or 80%. Because article directories can know, even if you're sending a spun article, they can know that you've just spun an article and sent it back to them, and they'll reject it. So you have low success rates. So what you want to do here is actually shorten the article and combine shortened articles together. So what I'm going to do here is click this shorten article to, I'm going to put 100 words here. Okay, now when I click on the preview sample articles tab, I can see that it's shortened the article to 100 words. And what senuke does here is it actually picks random sentences from the article, entire sentences, and then puts them together here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Create Spinner Article tab. And what I'm going to show you how to do here is combine 4 long articles into one shortened article of 550 words. So the first thing I want to do here is download some fresh content from ezine. And I'll just type in a keyword like red baron. Download seed article from ezine. Auto generate spinner variations. Copy. Paste that into a Word document. And download another seed article from ezine. And of course, this is a separate seed article from the first one. Auto generate spinner variations. Download another seed article from ezine. For the fourth article, let's download a related subject. Okay, so now this Word document has 4 different articles all in the body of the Word document. So what I'm going to do now here is highlight everything in here, delete everything in here, and paste it. So now there's all 4 articles. So now when I check this, shorten article to 550 words, and then go to the Preview Sample Articles tab, every time I spin again, it's actually just picking 550 words and combining them all together into a unique article. So you can see this has a lot of variety here. So let's look at the real test. Let's check uniqueness. Okay, so it tells me that the 16 different samples of my article is on average 63% unique. So that's really good. What if there's a sentence here that I want to keep in the article? And regardless of what happens with spinning, I want to keep that particular sentence. What I'm going to do is use the keep placeholder. So let's go to the sentence here. So what I would do here is just go to the front of the sentence and type pound keep pound. Now you'll notice the sentence actually always stays there. You notice the sentence stays there regardless of how many times I spin it. You have that sentence over and over again. And you can put that anywhere in the sentence, and you're really going to use the beginning of the sentence all the way to the end, when you have the period in the article. It will keep that you don't want to get stripped out each time the article is shortened. Just use that keep placeholder. And speaking of links, you can add links real easily to any sentence by just double clicking a word, right click, hit add link to selected anchor text. And you just type the URL name here. And you can also do custom HTML code here as well. And then at this point it shows up as a link. So there it is, the link in the article. Let's look at the Load Articles tab here. Now, what this allows you to do is essentially load articles you have in a directory if you wanted to send out multiple articles in one nuke. So what I do here is just navigate to the directory, load articles sequentially from this directory folder here instead of the article. And then what you can do is check this box here. And what this will do is this will So this essentially is another option. Instead of using the spinner here and getting these articles here, this will actually load the articles from this directory and nuke with these articles. Okay, before I move on, let me show you that you can also title these articles if you want to submit multiple articles at once. And what you do here is just do a little bit of formatting. So I'm just going to open up the Word document for one of the 5 articles. And here's how you do the formatting. You do bracket, title, bracket, and then the title of the article, and then bracket, backslash, title, bracket. So now when I save this, this will show up as the title in the article. Click Preview Simple Articles, spin again, and now you can see the title shows up here. So that's how you would do that. So we're going to continue with our article nuke setup here, but if we were doing a social network nuke, you could keep all those links in the paragraph. You can actually keep as many as 3 or 4 links within the body of the paragraph if you wanted to. So the next thing we're going to look at is the author name and author bio section. Obviously this could be any name and any bio you want to put in here. And you can have spins and nested spins in here, of course. And then if this is an article directory nuke, you want to have the link here at the bottom. So that's the author name and author bio field. The next field is the article directory field. Now in this field, you can actually put in the keyword you want to rank for. So say my keyword was laptops. If I want that to show up in the article over and over again, the best way to do that is to use a placeholder. A placeholder is simply something that takes the place of a repeating item in your article. Okay, so if I want to use the keyword placeholder, I'm going to right click and hit add keyword placeholder. Okay, so now if I look at the preview simple articles, I can see that it says compact laptops. So the laptop keyword has been replaced in the article here. So wherever I want to use the keyword over and over again in the article, I can just right click and hit add keyword placeholder. Right click and hit add keyword placeholder. So you can do that half a dozen times. And then that keyword, now when I click on the preview simple articles, I can see that my keyword density is going up here. Now the main thing here is as long as your keyword density is under 2%, you're going to be okay as far as staying under the Google radar. Okay, so there's a couple different kinds of placeholders I want to talk about here. The site placeholder, this gets replaced with the site name you're posting to. So if you're posting to hub pages, then hub pages would be filled in with this site placeholder. The last URL placeholder, what this does is create a link to the last property that you've nuked to. The last URL underscore URL only placeholder, this is going to be replaced with just the URL of your last post. It won't have the anchor text. You can also add URLs from a URL list here just by clicking this option, and it pops up this window, and this is specifically the random URLs placeholder here. So this asks you how many random links do you want to insert into the article. I'd say don't do more than 5 here. You could include anchor text with the links, and you could separate the links with a new line or custom separator here. You could define it here. And what you can do is use a specific URL list here, or you could use all URL lists. And then if you want to, you could use the URLs from a specific time frame. So you can see the programming popped into the window right here. Alright, so let's continue to fill out these fields here. So I just talked about the keyword, and now let's talk about the tags. In this field, you're going to fill out the tags that you want in your article. And in this field, you're going to have the title you want for your article. You can add spins within here, spins and nested spins. So the next thing you need to do is select which article directories you want to have this nuke to. I can select, deselect all, or I can select individual ones I want to. So I'm just going to hit select all. Okay, the next thing I want to do here is pick the profile I want to nuke with. Now this SA001 Grady tells me this is a social network nuke and an article nuke profile that's already set up. So I'm going to select that one. And I can actually even select multiple ones here. So if I choose multiple ones, it's going to randomly nuke one of those 4 profiles while nuking the project. So the next thing I'm going to do here is select the URL list. And this list is going to keep all the URLs from this nuke. And if I wanted to, I can create a new list by hitting this plus button and add a name there. And then here, I'm going to select the RSS list from the drop down or hit the plus button. So at this point, we're almost ready to go. I'm just going to double check everything. Okay, so I got the article in there, and it has spinning variations. I have my keyword in there, and I have the author name and bio filled out. I have the post settings filled out, keyword, tags, and title, and I have all the article directories checked. And then I'm also going to check and make sure I have the profiles selected, and I have the URL list selected, and RSS list selected. So at this point, if all those are there, the last thing I'm going to check here is my links. If this is an article directory, I don't want to have links anywhere in the article. I just want to have a link here in the author bio. Now, if this were a social network, so at this point, I can either schedule the project to happen at a certain time or after another project. I can spread the submission evenly or randomly over a certain number of days. Or I can just hit start.
Alright, let's end this video with some tips and tricks about article and social nukes. Now, I highly suggest that you don't nuke a particular article or social nuke more than 5 times. In fact, less is more in this scenario. So if you do 1 to 2 nukes, that's a lot better than 3, 4, or 5 nukes. Also, be really careful using the Load Articles tab and the Best Spinner together. It's a better idea to use one or the other, or if you want to use both, make sure you manually spin the content or combine articles together before submitting. Article nukes. Articles are generally approved 7 to 10 days after submitting them to article directories, so patience is a virtue here. If you manually type and spin articles, you'll also get a higher success rate than if you actually do it automatically. So even though it takes longer, you'll get a higher success rate generally. Also, you can outsource article generation using Odesk. I have 3 or 4 blogs and I use a lot of contractors using Odesk. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed this training video and I'll see you in the next.